Hey y'all. Okay, we're gonna get started in just a couple minutes, like 2 minutes. So just if you have any team, let them know. We're gonna get started in like 2 minutes. Okay, we're gonna get started. So I am super excited about tonight. We had just an awesome green carpet, and so it was so good. Those that went, if you went, post it in the chat that you went. Um, and there were just so many awesome aha moments for sure. And so, anyways, I'm excited because tonight, Ben and Danielle Boyle, along with Kelly and AB and Stacy and myself, are going to be on. And we're just going to kind of share like an aha or something that we just really got something mosquito something that we got from it that just really impacted us. So we're just gonna share that with you guys. But one thing I will say, you guys, is there is nothing like getting to events. Okay, so there's conference tickets on sale for now. Believe me, you want to get your ticket. So Danielle and Ben, I unmuted you. I made y'all a co-host, so you guys can unmute yourselves, and I want you guys to hop on first.
Hey guys. Okay, so it's really dark. We're at my grandmother's house right now. So I hope you guys can see us. Um, but we had a great time at Green Carpet. We absolutely loved it. And I am just gonna share really quickly. But one of my favorite things before I share any practical things was just having Robin and Tracy, getting to introduce them to Mark and Cami, people from our team, and just getting to brag on them and tell them how amazing they are and how amazing they're doing. And that was really so great to be able to have them meet them. But one practical thing that I heard this weekend that I really liked was, and I did this a lot when I first started my business, actually. I don't know if somebody said it on a tips or something, but they talked about how you should write down a list of 5 things. I might get it wrong, but 5 things that you would do if you got $100 paycheck from your business every month, and 5 things you would do if you got a $500 check from your business every month, and 5 things you would do if you got $1,000 check. And when I first started, I would talk about those things a lot, and I forgot about that. So I already have had some of my new DTs start doing that, and they've already signed a DT from it. So that's a really great little tip that you guys can remember. And another thing that I really loved was how, you know, they have the who's getting the most rubies. And I think they said the average person has 3 new rubies that they've been building, but Marwa has 16 new rubies that she's built. And that was just so great to hear that, and such a challenge to me. As a reminder, I love it when you see what other people are doing and it like motivates you and challenges you. It doesn't have to make you compare. For me, it makes me like excited and like motivated and challenged. So I loved that they said that. And I was like, okay, I need to get more rubies. So that was just like a good kick in the butt for me. And then there were so many amazing things that happened. But Ben, what did you want to share?
So really quick, so one of the things, honestly, I don't even remember what it was that sparked this thought that I'm going to share in a second. But like, honestly, I think one of the great things about going to an event like Green Carpet is like, there's so much like as far as like aha moments and things that will just like all of a sudden, dawn on you. It gets you thinking and gets you like really gets your mind in such a good place. But one thing that that sort of struck me this weekend was thinking back kind of on, just our entire time in the business, because, Danielle got to speak on stage for Going Ambassador. And so we were just kind of like reflecting on our time in the business, and specifically when she was going, promoting to ambassador this past April. And at the time, she was going through so much health wise and like just such a really, really tough time for her that, probably the darkest time for her that I've ever known her, with everything that was going on for her. And, Danielle's always been a big dreamer, and she's always been thinking about her dreams and like stuff like that. But at the time that we were trying to promote to ambassador, I remember that she couldn't dream anymore. And she would even tell me like, I can't even think of a reason to be alive, because it was so hard for her.
Just like physically.
Yeah, physically. Like... and she was like, I just like, this is so horrible. Like, I can't even think about my dreams right now. And when I was thinking back on all of that, I just remember that it struck me, because I was like, man, I think so many people, tend to, and myself included, when things get really hard, oftentimes we tend to like, let our actions change, and we'll stop doing the, just the little things that would get us to a good place. But, like sometimes my words will continue to be the same, and I'll continue to say all the right things, but my actions will change. But I remember thinking for Danielle, it was like, her thoughts changed, her emotions changed. She was feeling all over the place, but her actions never changed. And she continued to do the little things every single day that she had been doing for the past 4 years that have got her to where she is. And I just thought like, wow, like that is such an amazing character trait, and something that I think that if we all just, switch the script, and instead of changing our actions when things get hard, change your words, if anything, but like, don't change your actions. And Danielle exemplified that so much. And I was just really like, thinking about that this weekend, and was really challenged by that.
But you remember you were saying about the events, getting to events is like coffee or
so
something.
as far as like, as far as Green Carpet in general, like I just think that I was reminded this weekend, because I left Green Carpet just so fired up and just got a fire in my belly to go after our goals and things. And getting to an event like Green Carpet, or especially conference, which is going to be even better, to me, it's like those events are to my business what coffee is to your morning. It's like, it gives you that jolt, it gives you that just boost of energy, to shake off the sleep, to shake off the, the drowsiness, if you will, and get you back in the game. And I think that like sometimes we need that. We really just need that on a regular basis, that something to relight our fire and remind us why we're doing this, and like how amazing it can be, and hear people's stories. So
I love that. And I mean, when I think of what you guys said about, like, yeah, when Danielle was just like so sick, just running for ambassador, all I can think of is that at the end of the day, she worked her business not based on how she felt, but based on what
mhm.
she knew, and it's so easy to work our business based on our emotions and how we feel. Well, I feel like it today. Oh, I don't feel like it today. And when, you're hit with just like sickness, or maybe, you've got like family things, it doesn't matter what's going on. There's always going to be stuff. And yours was like extreme stuff. It's like, if there's ever a reason not to work, like, your health and just being so incredibly ill, that would be a reason not to. But like, how did you guys continue to go and continue to promote? And I mean, yeah, you didn't work it based on how you feel. I think that's something that we have to remember, because yeah, I know different people say it, I've said it, but it's like, you're not married based on the days you feel like it. You don't just parent on the days you feel like it. You don't just, like, you just have to, you just do it. And I think that just was so, yeah, that's just huge, and so admirable. And then I agree, Ben, just, yeah, like getting to events, there's nothing like that. There's nothing just like plugging in, like that's how you keep your fire going. Why do some people fizzle? Why do some people drop off? They're normally not connected. They're not plugged in. It's like, even just getting on something like this is not at all the same as getting to an event, but just getting on, you've got to do stuff to keep that fire going. And then if you can get to an event, like some people say, I can't afford to go to a conference. It's like that then you can't afford not to go. If finances could keep you from conference, that means that you're not in a financial state yet where things are okay. So then you have to get there, because if you get there with open mind. So anyways, I love you guys. It was so cool to see you guys do your ambassador speech, and man, it's just, that was, definitely one of my ahas, was seeing like you guys up there, Kelly up there, even Liz, share, like, that's so incredible just to see what you guys are doing. And I can't wait to see how many more from your team and those that are on here are going to be up there next year. Like, it's just so awesome. Like, so proud of you guys. Thank you guys for sharing. Okay, next up, let's see. Kelly Brown, let me make you a co-host. Let's see. This is when I need John. He's so much better than I am at this. There you are. Well, I'll unmute you. Okay. Hey, sister.
Hey! Okay, so I forgot. Tonight's soccer. So Nova's playing soccer, Andrew's coaching, and with naked tiny Leo running in the backyard.
That's okay.
Okay, so want me to go ahead?
Yeah, okay. Share something from conference.
Okay, so I have Andrew that he wanted to share. He talked me through it because I forgot it's soccer. We just have soccer for a couple weeks, and I'm like, oh shoot. So he gave me his notes. But okay, if y'all have like either your phones or a pen and paper, something to write on, if you got something just to write this down, and I can post it later or whatever. But one of like the theme topics or key topics they talked a lot about at conference was telling your story. And I loved the panel that they had. There was Claire and a couple other people, Claire Flores, a couple other people talking about telling your story. And a lot of times we get stuck thinking that you have to have success and a success story in order to sign people. But success is not what signs people. It's your story that signs people. Your personal story, your testimony. Where do you come from? Was there a hard time in your life that you struggled? And then if you pinpoint that struggled time in your life, that season of time in your life, or maybe there's numerous seasons, but if you can pinpoint it and then branch off, remember a day, remember a scenario, remember a moment from that season in your life. And that's where you tell stories from. Okay. So now if you've had, a crazy life experience, you might not tell all of the details. There are seasons in sharing. Okay. And there is wisdom in sharing, but what you might tell is a point in time in life when you had medical debt, or you had bills, or you were struggling to pay your rent or mortgage, or you were struggling to do this and that, a season where it was just hard. Life was just hard in general. Think about a day, think about an event, think about a moment, and tell each one. That's your story. That's what signs people, not success. Does that make sense? Because everybody can relate to a story, but not everybody can relate to success all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what they talked about. So Claire gave an outline of how to tell your story. And while I felt like, okay, we tell our story all the time, I still took the notes. And then after she gave the notes, I sat there because I got bored. In the moment, I was like, okay. So I'm like writing a story based on each question she asked in her instruction. I can't remember who came. Anyways. Okay. So this was her little outline. Okay. And it says, for telling your story. Okay. What was life like before it works? Okay. So we all know that. Okay. What was life like? And what I mean is, I've always told the story of what was it like right before I started It Works. But that's not my whole story. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I was like, oh gosh, here I have been wasting my story all this time and not sharing it. And somebody got up there and said they didn't start telling their story. Was it Stephanie Dunn? Until like Double Diamond, she wasn't telling her story. And I was like, well, I'm telling my story. I was living paycheck to paycheck and I wanted to pay for ballet classes. But that's not my whole story. That's like the minute before I joined, right? Is that what you think about when you think your story of right before you signed up? Okay, what about your life? Was there a season when it was hard? That's your life story. You can use that to change lives. Does that make sense? So I always thought, what was it that made me say yes? But that's not your whole story. Okay. So what was life like before? And that means any time before doing It Works. Okay. How did you find It Works? I don't always say that in my stories. I don't know. Or maybe I don't go into depth, or maybe I just barely mention it. But this is part of her outline. How did you find It Works? What held you back from joining? So how did you feel? What did you think? What held you back from getting started? Okay. And then how is your life different now? And then invite them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Because have you ever looked at Claire's stories when she writes them and they're like kind of long? And I'm like, well, I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. I don't really have great stories, or I'm not a great storyteller. Right. But there was 5 parts that she gave to one post. I was like, oh, I don't guess I really do it like that. I don't know. I never thought about it. So one more time, what was life like before? Okay. Any season in your life, anytime you can talk about struggle or frustration or hopelessness or any of those things. Okay. What was life like before? How did you find it? What held you back? How is your life different now? And then invite them. None of that talks about success. And I love that. So no matter where you're at in your journey, whether you're just getting started or you've been going for a little bit, this is talking about your story, not your success.
Yes.
Yeah, shush.
Yes.
So your success is a different kind of story, a different kind of post. But when we're talking about telling your story, it's talking about you, where you come from. Does that make sense? Okay. So I love that. I thought that was life-giving because I was like, oh, thank you. She's being a superhero with a water gun and she's naked. So I just love that that was duplicatable for anybody, no matter where you're at in your business. And it gives life to people that feel like they have to be making a whole ton of money before people are going to sign up with them. Because I've thought that before. I'm like, yeah, if I was as successful as so-and-so, people would be jumping to my e-suite. Well, that's not true. That's not the truth. And so they focused a lot on telling your story. So there was that. And then Andrew's takeaway or aha or what he felt, he said it was if only. He's like, what I love about events is you come to an event going, yeah, I mean, I'm working a job and I got 500 children and life is really hard. And if only it was different, I would be successful, with this feeling of victim mentality. If only it were different. And he's like, you come to events and you hear everyone's if onlys that came out in the end. And all of a sudden, it makes where you are doable. So right before this, I was talking to a girl that went diamond, and then she fell back to Ruby, and she's like, I'm a teacher and a coach and a mom, and I just don't know how I can do all this, and like just feeling very distraught. And I was like, the beautiful thing is that there are other people in your same scenario that are working full time, got 500 kids, you got soccer and dance like I do, and you got, life is like running away with you and all these things. But when you come to events and you see other people with the same crazy life, and it's like stressful and insane and undoable, and how can I juggle this business and juggle life and be good at any of it, and it's so frustrating and whatever, and then you hear their story and they do it, and you're like, well, shoot, maybe I can find a way to do it too. And all of a sudden it makes your if onlys easier. And so that's one of his favorite things about coming to events, is hearing everyone's stories, of struggle and triumph.
I love that, Kelly. I love that. Do you have anything else? I don't want to cut you off. Oh, you paused. Did you mute it? Okay. No, I mean, I think that's so powerful, and it is true. And I think that, for those of you guys that didn't yet see Kelly's ambassador speech, it was, incredible, totally anointed. John posted it on Diamond Empire. He got like the best reporting of it. He was like, I was like, how did you get such a good shot? He's like, oh, I was right there next to the professional camera guy. I was like, yo. So John got a good shot of that. But I even think, a lot of what was so powerful with your speech was, once again, Kelly incorporated her story. So if you didn't watch it, it's on her page, it's on Diamond Empire. I posted it. We probably all posted it. But, and even in that, she talks about, she said, she's like, I don't remember exactly how she worded it, but she's like, I'm from a trailer park. Like, my mom and I were in a women's shelter. She goes like, I never thought this would be me, but I think that's what made it powerful, is like that glimpse of like what was life like now. And then some of you, you might be like, well, I don't have a story yet. You know what? It's so powerful to share other people's stories, and then you get to share the story you're gonna write. And so you have two. You can 100% share Kelly's story. I used to always do that when I first joined. Like, my Facebook memory just showed me the other day, like 4 years ago, I shared Alyssa Bilyeu's story from food stamps to where she was now. Like, I would share other people's stories, and like, I've signed DTs with that. And then your story, you're writing it. When I joined, I was ignorance on fire. Probably the most DTs I ever signed was my first month in. Like, I was just like signing anybody, everyone. And it was the story I was going to tell. It's like, hey, this company seems incredible. I'm going to make money. They have these crazy bonuses. If we're not making money in a year, we can quit. Do this with me. Will you do this with me? Like, let's do this. Let's write a story. Like, I want to tone up my tummy. Try these products with me. I want to be able to have extra wiggle room. Join with me. Like, it was just asking, inviting them. And I was like writing it. And then along the way, you can share little wins, and like, I remember filling up my car with gas and a Blitz card. Things change. So I'm not saying doing that now, or, people posting, paying for diapers. And, I think Tiffany just said in here, she almost always signs a DT. She said when she talks about going from government assistant to paying for groceries, but whatever it is, just share it. And people nowadays, more than any time ever, they want real. They want raw. They want authentic. They want to know about you. And I think that was just such a good reminder to just, be a little more vulnerable, to share that. People say yes to you before they say yes to the business, so thank you so much, Kelly. Okay. Next up, Stacy, let me unmute you. Stace, let's see. There she is. Hello?
Hey, y'all. Hey.
You're in the car.
Hey, there was 3 accidents while I was driving home. I'm like, this night is rocking for me, so I'm just going to roll with it.
We're twinning.
We are. People ask if we're sisters. I've actually got asked if we're twins before, and tonight, we're
twinning. Okay. Stay, share with us what was one of your ahas or something that was just.
Absolutely. This was one of my favorite events I've ever gone to. And I think because of simply this, it was an event I needed to go to. People always talk about events either need you or you need them. Like if you're in a good place, they need you. If you're not in such a great place, you need them, and I can just really say in my mind, I know when I need that extra shot in my arm or whatever to get around the people that will encourage me, inspire me, in a sense, motivate me. I mean, it's up to myself to motivate me, but man, when you get around the fire, your flame doesn't go out. And that's what I love about going to events. And I think just reminders, simple things, kind of like what Kelly was saying about telling your story. One of the things that Mark said from the stage during his speech, he actually said this to us to a couple times, and I think this is powerful for us all to hear. So whether you joined yesterday or you've been in this business for 5 years, he was telling you and me, Sherry, I didn't join to be at the top of the company. When I joined my company, I was just hoping to make some extra money to help relieve, because I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And so a lot of times, and then we started talking about it, like you didn't join thinking, oh, I'm going to go number 2 in the company. I joined hoping I wouldn't lose money. You know what I mean? I'm like, fingers crossed something will happen. But that's what's inspiring about the business, because right now you might not see yourself at the top of the company, but what you may see yourself with is, yeah, you signed a team member. Yeah, you're going to pay for pizza night for your family this week. Yeah, this month, maybe you're going to cover your electricity bill with this thing. Start there. Start at the next step and watch your belief grow, because it will. And so don't be frustrated. When we're out there, sometimes, people talk about, well, you want team members who really want it. And I agree with that in a sense, but people don't even know what they want getting into this business. And so don't forget the person that's just going for, yeah, I need that extra $200 this month. And if that's you, you're in the right place, and who knows where that could come to. So that was a huge takeaway for me, to remind me, man, everybody can do this business, and I don't need somebody who just decided they're going to go to the top to be the person to change my business. And I even loved, just a confirmation of when Cindy, actually this time Cindy introduced Mark, and she told a little bit of their story, guys. And to me, every time I hear them talk about where they came from, it encourages me that I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people. And I just love them. But literally, there's people who own multi-level marketing companies because that's what they want to do, to invest their money to make their wealth grow. Like that's a thing for wealthy people to do, right? But with them, that's not their story. Like if you were to hear their story, Mark and Cindy met in high school. They were high school sweethearts. And they got married, and she didn't go to college, right? Like Mark went to college. She didn't go to college. But her dream, because she was a girl of 5 girls or 5 girls, and her mom was a single mom, but who took care of them. And her dream was to always stay home with kids. And so hearing that part of their story, you're like, yeah, that's so many women in our company. They want to stay home with their kids, and this is a way to make that happen. So that's awesome. But she was saying, man, we were willing to make any sacrifices to make that happen. This always sticks out to me. Like I'm sitting there going, these are people who now own an island, a golf course, homes in multiple places, helicopters, like all these crazy things. But when their kids were my kids' age, they started in a company. And she always said, my kids didn't know that Fisher Price came in boxes because I did garage sales. Christmas presents, everything, garage sales. And I'm like, man, how awesome it is that we have people leading us that aren't too far out of reach of where the everyday person is, to be a reminder of what this company can do. And that was just eye-opening for me. And as I sat, listening to that and just all the different things, and then I stood on stage with they had all the people who went ambassador this year go up on stage. And as I stood there and I watched Danielle and Ben speak, and I watched Kelly give her speech from the stage, and I watched you and John watching that, I just kept thinking about the borrowed belief that you gave a lot of us. Like you, and so all that to say, everybody who's on here, guys, if you need to borrow a little belief, borrow it, because it can be you. Like I remember Sherry going, I'm going to have ambassadors. I'm not going to be the only ambassador on this. The people need to hear from this team. We have high quality people. They need to hear from Danielle. They need to hear from Kelly. They need to hear from Stacy. They need to be those people. They can lead this company with us, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, sometimes there was times where I'm like, oh, but then just going, man, you did it. You saw it. You believed it, you worked for it, you prayed for it, and you shared that belief with everybody else. And we as enrollers and as people in this company, that's what we get to do, is share that belief with other people and then watch it come to be as we stick with it. And lastly, I just wanted to share this little quote. So my face is going to go off the screen because I'm in the car and this is written down at home for me to share. But they talked about, so you know what, if you're just in there, you could be like just kind of looking at a mountain going, how am I going to climb this thing? If you've been in for a while, then you've been on the mountaintops and in the valleys of it. But I just want you to listen to this. In life, we arrive at mountaintops and we think we've arrived, but God has higher mountains ahead for us. And sometimes Jesus will say to us, hey, do you want to go to that mountain? And I'm just crazy enough to follow him there. But I expect a magic bridge to appear like Indiana Jones. And I picture myself running across the next mountain. But Jesus says to me, didn't you know that bridges are man-made? I don't make bridges. From mountain to mountain, I made valleys. And so I just want to say to y'all, if you feel like, man, I was on a mountaintop and now I'm in a valley, that just means you're going to the next higher mountain. And Mark's referenced this too. Where things grow the most is in the valley. So what's happening? You're growing. So don't be discouraged by looking at another mountaintop. You can do it. You're stronger. You're better. You're growing in the valley, and you are going to be better by the time you get to that next mountaintop. So don't deny yourself of who God is making you to be through this valley, because that is where greatness is going to come.
I love that. And it's so, and that's so, so true. It's, I felt like the more Cami talked about that, we're all in different places, we're different places. For some of you, you might be like on the mountaintop and you're just like, my business right now is incredible. It's never been better. For some of you, you're like, what's going on? And has everything just fallen apart? But it's like, isn't that life? Isn't that the journey? Some days you feel like, for me, some days I feel like I'm killing this mom thing. Other days I'm like, am I the world's worst mom? But it's just, it's just the journey, the ups and the downs and the valleys and the mountains. And I just kept thinking, it's so much work getting to the top of a mountain, right? So much work getting up there. But then when it's the hardest part to get up there, once you get there, that's the best part. You're like, oh, look at this. It was so hard to get there, but you're there. You're stronger. You've learned so much. You have this like incredible story, and then it's like okay, things aren't so great. I live in the valley. It's easy. I'm in the valley, but like, okay, I'm not having to launch all these new DTs and get all these customers going because I got no one that I'm signing, but let me be consistent. Let me keep working up. Oh my goodness, I'm on the mountain. I just, I signed everything. And so you just have to know it is the journey, and I love that, Stacy. And it is true. I think that we, sometimes just at the end of the day, you've got to, give yourself grace, but then you also have to make sure that you're showing up. And I think when I think of some of my aha moments, one of mine would be, I just remember, it has to do with Stacy looking at me and saying, I'm okay working and putting in all this work like I am, if like you can like, can you think I really will go ambassador? You know, she's like, I mean, because I remember there was times Stacy would be like, she was presidential, then she was going backwards and then going forward, you know, and it's just what is it? It's the mountain. It's the mountain, right? And she's like, I'm okay doing this if like it can happen. And I, you know, and I even remember her saying that so many times that I'm like, well, yeah, of course you can have that. I'm like, well, crap, can it? I mean, yeah, I believe it can. Like, but I'm like, Stacey, you're gonna talk me out of this, you know? But I'm like, yeah, Stacey, it will. Why won't it? And all I had to do was be around other ambassadors and be like, of course it will happen. If I can do it, Stacey can. If all these other people can, she can. But I just think of that as just like the faithful consistency. And then all of a sudden she hit her mountain and she went ambassador. And then not only did she go ambassador, Kelly went ambassador, you know, from her team, and like, you know, so many presidentials and triples. And oh my goodness, now we're meeting people I've never met before that are diamonds and above. And I'm like, I don't even know these people on the team anymore. That's crazy to get to a point so big that I literally didn't know over half of the names of the people until I met them that were there, you know, but that's what happened. So what I would say to you guys is it's just about being consistent. But imagine if Stacey had quit on the trek up the mountain and was like, I'm going back down. I'm not going to do this. Like, she would have missed out. And not only would she missed out, but then, you know, and so it was cool to see Stacey up there, to see Kelly up there, to see Danielle and Ben up there, you know, to see Liz Lundy as a triple diamond up there, even Sharon, you know, just to see it just was. And that's not even just the successful people on our team. That is literally massive success, like top of the company, massive tippy top success. Success is all of these rubies and these emeralds and these diamonds. And, you know, I mean, put in the chat, what's your rank right now? Put in the chat. If you're a ruby, that's 5%. You're the top 5%. If you're a diamond, you're the top 2%. I don't even know the stats for the others, but you know, so just know as it can happen for these people, let that inspire you, you know. And I don't want to like get sidetracked because John's going to share something, but even what, you know, yeah, what Danielle said about the rubies. And so what happened is Mark said, hey, out of those that, you know, have qualified for the June, July, August, so I don't remember when the contest started. No, maybe it was August. I don't know. Whenever the Costa Rica contest dates are, yeah, that contest started in June. He's like, of the top 20, the Marwa has, from the time period from June to now, has enrolled 16 rubies. And he said the person, it's not even the average one, the second highest person has enrolled 3 new rubies, which is me. So I know, but you know, so, but and then he said, then everyone else is who knows what. And I'm with Danielle. That doesn't make me compare. That makes me think, shoot, if someone can enroll 16, I wouldn't, like, I can do that, you know? And for you, you might be like, I'm just trying to go Ruby girl. I'm not trying, maybe like how Kelly was, I just want to be a stone right now. I'm just saying, as you're reading the chat, for me, hearing Marwa say that, me hearing these other girls say they have however many cruise points, I'm just like, awesome. I can do that too. You know? Yeah. If you can sign 5,000 cruise points, I can sign 5,000. I can have 5,000 cruise points. Heck yeah. If you can, I can. Let's read some of these. If Monica can go Ruby and Robin can go executive and Jennifer can go diamond and Sharon can go emerald and Tracy can go ruby, and you read all these things like doubles, you know, like Tiffany triple, ruby, diamonds, like why not you? Like, this is not a comparison thing. This is like this should expand your belief, like holy moly. And so that's what I would say is a big aha for me, was just seeing the consistency, seeing how consistent Stacey was, seeing how consistent Kelly and Danielle and so many have been, and then seeing it be rewarded and seeing how many we had from Diamond Empire in the VIP. Like, we couldn't even all sit on one row. We had so many triples and above that it was just like, that was crazy seeing. I mean, I couldn't even name all the names, Julie and Jennifer and Esty, and I mean, there's Tracy and, you know, I mean, gosh, Natalie, I mean, just so many, and Rachel, and I mean, just all these, like, you know, triple and aboves, like, that was crazy, you know, and you guys can do it too. So that, I mean, that's kind of like a lot of randomness, but that was a lot of my aha, is just knowing if you're consistent, if you don't stop, you know, why not you? But you've got to decide, you know, you could go back to what Danielle said. You got to do it when you feel like it, when you don't. But babe, John, we can switch spots.
Oh, it's Hey everyone. We're just sharing aha moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had several aha moments, but I think my aha when I left was that I think Sherry's already said it a million times, but man, it was so awesome to see Stacy, Danielle, Kelly on stage. But my aha was actually like the second that green carpet was over, and all I could think to myself was like, who are me and Sherry going to see up there next? And when I say that like, who that John and Sherry personally enroll are we going to see up there next? Like, who is going to be the next story on our team that go up there? And that's what I would challenge you. Like, not only are you going to be up there, like you have to start seeing yourself be that next rank, that triple, that double, that, prez, that ambassador. But then who do you want to see up there? Like one of our goals, I think it was 2 years ago now, it was when we were doing surf and turf. We said we wanted a personally enrolled ambassador. And it wasn't until this past year that there were two, with Stacy and Ben and Danielle. And then, Stacy has Kelly. But then I just left and I was like, man, who on our team, who on Diamond Empire is going to be the next wave of people that we're up there just cheering and rooting on? I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. I will never trade the moment that my wife got to, do a top 10 speech. We actually didn't get an ambassador speech, but I can remember that moment that she had her top 10 speech. And that was probably one of the greatest moments of my life. But I can tell you this, that seeing Stacy, Kelly, and Danielle up there, that was a very close second. I mean, I tell you what, I left more motivated than I've ever been in my life, because when you see your team up there, oh man, seeing Liz Lundy up there, I mean, I had chills when she was sharing her story, because we just know how big her heart is. And, I said it at the lunch that we had with some of our team, but I've said it for years that two things, that the Lord has given our team favor, that he has anointed us to really change the world through this vehicle called It Works. But then I really believe he's called us to be the standard of It Works, that over the next few years, I always felt like he was promising that we were going to be the team that no one saw coming, and now everyone sees coming. And it's not like in an arrogant way. It's just, I kept saying to myself, God, like, we have such amazing people. We have such anointed people. We have such just this favor that he's given us, that when you speak as a leader, it's powerful and it's effective. And man, when Ben and Danielle spoke and when Kelly spoke, it was just like the Lord was giving me a glimpse of what he's promised years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And all I could think about when I left is that there's going to be so many more of these. When I saw Liz Lundy speak and just how powerful she was in her story, all I could think about was, this is what he promised years ago. And so who's going to be next? And I tell you what, if we finish this year strong, if we do everything we can, I guarantee you, time and time again, the Lord just comes through faithful over and over and over again. And we're going to see it going into this year. The things Mark's talking about, a line in October, another line in November. We're going to have a lot to talk about going to the end of the year. So we just have to do our part and stay faithful and be true to ourselves and lead our teams with passion and with excitement, and he's going to take care of the rest. So those were my ahas. I was just thinking, like, who's going to be the next one? And I would love to see, come this conference, a slew of people giving ambassador speeches, and I think it can happen if we do our part. So those were my ahas.
Yeah, I love that. And then, in closing, here's what I would want to challenge you. Mark challenged us multiple times with this, you guys. And this is kind of now just like a business building tip. Okay. So he talked about, we have to reload. Like, you have to reload. And literally, it really hit me. And I like that word so much better than rebuild. But I'm not sure where you're at, but you always have to reload. You have to reload in life. Like, you've got to reload so you can go, And so instead of saying, I've got to rebuild, time to reload. A lot of us, myself included, like, you wonder, maybe you're looking at your chart and you're looking at your team, and tomorrow's the 25th, all the auto ships ran, you're like, man, volume's down. You hadn't been bringing in the new. You just hadn't been bringing in some new stuff. Okay, let's reload. Let's reload. You don't like where you're at? Bring in the new. It works as giving us what we need right now. There's half price coupon codes you can get when you buy your conference ticket. That's 5 new people. Let's reload and go. There you go. That's a brand new Ruby. They're giving you points for signing customers. You sign a DT, you're getting 200 points. That DT gets to 400, 250 points. Like, they're to earn a trip. They're giving us everything. We have new products with celery, with the reds, with the greens. We've got new stuff coming. But if you don't like what you're seeing right now, I bet you hadn't been bringing in new. Think about it. If all of a sudden you're like, ooh, things aren't going good. When's the last time you signed somebody new as a distributor? And hopefully this month, but like, just stop and ask yourself. You don't even have to put in the chat. When's the last time you signed, a new distributor? For some, it was a bit. So we've got to be bringing in the new. We've got to be reloading. And let's take it a step further. I challenge the diamonds. When's the last time you signed somebody, especially leaders, and they went Ruby? That's what we've got to do. We've got to bring in the new, reload, got to teach them to go Ruby, and so that's what I would say. So right now, don't worry about rebuilding. Just know, yes, we have steps to success. Every month, our goal is to sign 4 customers, bring in 1, 2, 3, 4 customers. If you can bring in 8, bring in 8. If you can bring in 10, bring in 10. If you're host to post in your little tail off and you can bring in 20, 30, awesome. Do your thing. The company tells us, though, 4 customers is a goal. But with that, here's what we can't forget, team. 3 distributors. We also got to bring in 3 distributors. You know why? Because some will, some won't. Who cares who's next? You're going to have DTs quit. Join the club. My Ruby quit. Yeah. She joined it. Yeah, they do. They do. People are quitters. How many people join the gym and quit? How many people join, make New Year's resolutions and then stop? How many people set a goal and blow the diet? Like, that's just the fact. People gonna quit. Your best friend that joined you is probably gonna quit. Who's had someone quit that it made you sad? That's a friend that you love, that you want to do it with. It sucks and it doesn't feel good. And want to hear the awful truth? More are gonna quit. But that's where we have to be reloading, and you've got to be bringing in the new. That's why 4 customers, and you want to make a goal to bring in 3 new distributors, not one time, every single month. That is the key, okay? And then when I sign those 3 distributors, you guys, the work has just begun once they sign. You spend forever trying to get them to sign. They finally sign. Don't just let them fall off the face of the earth, okay? We then teach them to do the same. I'm telling you, this is the duplication part. This is the big part. So you sign Sally and Amy and Jenny. Now it's time to teach Sally to get her 4 LCs and 3 DTs, and teach Amy to get her 4 LCs and 3 DTs, and teach Jenny to get her 4 LCs and 3 DTs. That's the key. It's the duplication. So if you don't like where you're at, I bet you haven't been signing anyone. So let's change it. We don't need to worry about the past. We're starting now. Everyone on here should have 5 coupon codes. Because who's going to conference? Put in the chat right now if you're going to conference. I want to see who got their ticket. You can't not go. And I'll say this in closing because it's been 50 minutes and I want us to end promptly. But let me say this. And we'll do plenty of Zooms about getting to conference. But I'll never forget going to conference. And a lot of you have heard me say it. For the first time ever, a couple months in, sitting in the very back of the room. It wasn't until the last day that we realized you could sometimes kind of sneak into premium if you're a rebel like me, and you just hold up your wrist and like pretend like you have the right wristband, even if you don't, and it makes everyone else stressed. But then I got a little bit closer. But for the most of the time, sat in the very back of the room at that conference, and I am blind. Like, I'm the person that's so blind, like my driver's license would have a restriction on it if I let it expire, and I have to have glass. Like, yeah. So basically, what's my point? They looked like this big on stage, and I was just like, okay. And I was way in the back of that room, but my fire got lit, and I thought, if they can do it, why not me? Why not Tracy? Why not Madison? Why can't, I don't know how to pronounce that name, Xitali. Exeli, why not you? Why not Julie? Why not Hope? Why not Deanna? Why not Lizzie? Why not Jennifer? Why not Tracy? Why not Rachel? Why not Dante? Why not Lindsay? Why not Nicole? Why not Lorena? Why not Jennifer? Why not Billy? I mean, why not Moni? Like, why can't you go to the very top? And I sat there at Double Diamond in the back of the room, but I saw all these people that are millionaires. I'm ready for there to be another millionaire on Diamond Empire. Who's going to be the next millionaire that makes 7 figures? Kelly? Raising her hand. Who else? I mean, who? Lindsay? Okay, good. I mean, and I saw them up there, and it's like, well, shoot, what do they have that I don't? And conference was in February. And can I tell you guys, listen, February, March, April, May, June, within 4 months, I was a presidential diamond. I was a top 75 income earner. I was at that next September or whatever the month was at Dash, which was the top 75 thing. From like Double Diamond, back of the room, within 4 months, the top of the company. That can be all of you. I mean, and Kelly and Danielle, Stacey, they all probably have similar stories. Kelly, I was joking with her, but I was like, Kelly went from like number like 5,000 to like number 20 in like, like 1 year. I mean, literally crazy what can happen when you just get to work. But then listen, not only did Kelly get to work, not only did Stacey get to work and Danielle get to work, but they got to work, 4 LCs, 3 DTs, working theirs, but teaching their team to do the same. It's not just you. You want to be teaching them. If all I did was sign customers and distributors but not teach anyone else to do it, I would spin my wheels. And I probably would still be Double Diamond. So that's where that duplication has to come into place. But I'm telling you, by that next conference, 1 year later, y'all, back of the room, I was on stage in the top 50, on stage, speaking on a panel. That's 1 year. 1 year. But I was consistent. I've worked it every day when I feel like it, when I don't, always reloading. And if, people used to always ask me the secret, and I always would say the secret's consistency. But can I tell you what's another secret that I didn't realize till I was like getting ready for tonight? I've always brought in new. Like always. I've always had new DTs coming into my organization every single month. Never not. I'll say like, I'll say like, oh, I'm not a mass enroller, but like typically 3 to 8 DTs every month are coming in since the beginning I joined. So it wasn't a success from the very beginning. I've always been trying to double my steps. So there's like maybe been like 2 freak months in my whole 5.5 years where I haven't completed my steps to success, but that's literally only 2 months. Every month, because if the month's going by and I'm not signing DTs, I'm like, oh crap, and I start sending out more messages and I start fixing it and making up for it and doing more. So I'm always reloading, and that is a secret. I'm not trying to work with the same people that have told me that they stopped and that aren't replying. A lot of you're too focused on who's not doing anything, and the reason why you're so hung up on who's not doing anything is because you haven't brought in anybody new. Bring in someone new and you won't get so hung up on who's not working. Bring in some new people and you won't get so hung up on who quit. That's just a fact. So it's time to reload. And then you're going to teach your team to do it. I am telling you, if you thought, well, that's great, Sherry Lynn's been successful. Sure she is. She was the first in this whole little group. Now you've seen so many other people that have, been in this business different amount of times. I think I was talking to Danielle and Ben. I was like already a triple diamond, I think, or presidential diamond when they joined. And look at them, top of the company. I mean, like, it doesn't matter if you joined this week. You can go to the top. There's people in the top of the company. There's someone in the top 20 that was a distributor last year. And this year they're in the top 20. Imagine if you're a distributor right now, imagine next year at Green Carpet going from being a distributor to being in the top 20 of the company. Mark said there's some, I don't know who it is, there's someone like that. From a distributor, a lot of you are higher ranked than distributor. Who wants to go from distributor to top 20 by next year? Why not you? But to get to the mountaintop, yes, you've got to work. You got to be consistent. You've got to show up. You got to sign people. How do you sign LCs? 4 LCs, 3 DTs, how do you do it? We preach it. You post, you message, you follow up, you expand your network, and you do the work. You know, I love that. Yeah, don't despise the valley. So that's what you do. I love you guys. I truly, truly believe, yep, the valley's where you grow. That's so true. I truly believe we are. John always say that we are that team. I want us to be that team. And it was so cool to really feel like, just, I feel like, Stacy, people have gotten to know Stacy, they got to hear Danielle, they got to hear Ben did incredible. They got to see Kelly, her heart. Like, I'm just like so excited because I've always said, like, we've got the best team. I'm not being biased. Like, we have quality people. Like, even when our team was smaller, which now we're not really small. I mean, there's over 10,000 on our team. But even when we were small and there wasn't, I'm like, we're the filet mignon, we're lean and mean, and we just have quality, and we do. And, just why not you? That's what I would say to you is why not you? So that's it. I love you guys. I'm excited for this month. How many cruise points did you say you were going to sign? How many was your goal? Not cruise, I'm sorry, incentive trip points. How many incentive trip points? A lot of you set a goal at the beginning of the month. It's the 25th. How's it going? I want to know. Ask yourself that. You've got to do self-reflection. And it's like, oh man, I haven't done it. Well, what are you going to do about it? You're just going to let yourself not do what you said you would do? You're going to let yourself are you going to crank it up and do it? I said I wanted 5,000. And I have over 5,000 because I set a goal. And it's like, that's what I'm going to do. I have 5,200, but I'm about to transfer and I'll see. So I'll lose one of those. So I'll have 5,100. But I set a goal. I wanted 5,000. So I got my 5. I want to get another 5 next month. So what's your goal and where are you at? Because you've got right now 7 days left. So you can do 7 days and sit here and watch everyone else do it, or you can decide to do it too. So what was your goal? And then the same thing is what I would say to you guys, because I'm not going to talk to y'all again until next month. What goal did you guys have? And I'll go live in Diamond Empire, but I already have 100 and, well, so a few people are hanging off. But I already have over 100 of you on. Oh, people are hanging off because they don't want to hear Shirley come out. But those of you that are brave enough to stay on, at the beginning of the month, you set a goal of what you wanted. Rank-wise, I hope. How many LCs and DTs did you want? Where are you at? Self-reflect right now. If you don't like where you're at, what are you going to do about it? You've got 7 days left. There's always the stuff. There's always the stuff. So what are you going to do? I say get a little mad at yourself. Get a little belief by looking at everyone around you, seeing that other people can do it. Let that fuel that fire in your belly and under your booty, and then go do it. What can you do in 7 days? What rank do you want to be? You're showing Ruby right now, you want to get back to Diamond? Do it. Are you showing Diamond right now, you want to get back to Double? Do it. Are you showing Distributor right now, you're like, I've been paid rank Ruby before, get back there. You've got 7 days. So just decide, set those goals, get specific, and go after them. I said I wanted to sign 6 distributors this month. That was my goal. I'm at 4. You better believe I'm going to sign at least 2 more. Shoot, I want to sign 5 more before the month's over. So set those goals, get specific, and go after them, okay? You can and you will. You just have to decide. So I love you guys. Hope you have a good night. Let's rock out these last 7 days, okay? And as everyone's signing off, yeah, shout it out. Shout your cruise point. It's not a cruise, I'm sorry. Your incentive points. Shout out your incentive points in the chat. Mike said, don't be the sad person that has no points. He like posted a screenshot, Mike Patillo, of don't be that person. Look at Robin, 4,200. She gets to bring a guest for free. Mariah, 3,800. Natalie Emerson, 2,900. Kelly Brown, 3,000. Yeah, set those. 2,100, 1,600. Yeah, set those goals. Awesome. And set there, earn yourself a spot. I don't know if we know, in the eSuite now tells you if you're in the top 300. Let's be in the top 300. Why can't all 300 come from this team? They can. Okay. So I love that. Okay. Love y'all.